Kevin's Corner TV. My name is Kevin Horton, and I'm the editor of the Gold Coast Gazette, a weekly newspaper established in 1991 along with my mother. The newspaper covers the North Shore of Long Island, and over the years I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of interesting people. Through this show, I hope to introduce you to some of those people. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, welcome to Kevin's Corner TV. Today we're going to be interviewing the Sobhy family. They play squash. Welcome to the show. And you're Khaled?
I'm Khaled.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
you're
to
the
meet you,
dad
sir.
and the coach.
The dad and the coach and the trainer.
Great. And this is your son Omar.
This is Omar.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Tell me about this sport.
It's actually, you can see here, it's a court for four walls, and you have lines in the middle, bottom, and the top. The top line is the outline, and the middle line is we call it the cut line, which is for the serve. And the bottom line is the down, which is the tin. And you want to keep that ball between the top line and the bottom line without touching any of the lines. You can use any of the walls, but the ball has to reach the front wall first before it bounces. You have only one bounce maximum, but you can take the ball up in the air as well. So the pace is intense, but you can see the walls, and you have a racket as long as a tennis racket. So you have limitation of the running. So you cannot overrun the ball, and you cannot be like bouncing off the walls as well. Right. So you have to always, like at the end of your run, you have to stop to be able to hit a shot. And at the same time, you are placing that ball all around the court away from your opponent. And sometimes you can use deceptions as well to move your opponent in a different direction, then put the ball again in the other direction.
Now, a lot of people compare this game to racquetball because they look very similar. But squash actually has much more strategy involved than racquetball, because there are outs on this court, which there are none of in racquetball. And the basic strategy for squash is you want to keep the ball nice and tight to the side walls, out of the middle, and you want to trap your opponents in the corner. So some people have called squash chess with rackets, because you're strategically placing your opponent to different corners around the court, tiring them out, moving them around, and trapping them in the corners.
Excellent.
And at the same time, you can see the running, how is it intense. It's not everything forward. It's backward, sidewards, moving the feet wisely all around the court, and be able to volley and keep the intensity on your opponent by taking the ball early. So it's the same like badminton in a way.
Right. Wow. Now this is Amanda playing here.
Amanda and Sabrina.
Right.
And I want you to run faster to get to your ball here.
All right, I'm here with Sabrina, Khaled, Amanda, and Omar. And they are the squash family. I appreciate you guys being on the show. Let's start with you, Sabrina.
Hi.
I'm putting you on the spot now.
Okay.
Tell me about squash and how you got into this.
Well, everyone in the family plays squash, even the parents. So
your mom and dad started in squash, right?
yeah, and then my dad started Omar first. And then me and Amanda always went to a squash tournament, so we eventually just started along and played.
Now, what age did you start?
At 9.
9 years old.
Yeah.
Cool. And what do you like about the sport? How did you?
Well, it's a lot of fun, and it's always so much action, and we always have a bunch of people to play because everyone in our family plays.
Mm-hmm. Now, Dad, you're the coach, right?
I'm the coach, yeah. I'm the bad guy.
Oh, yeah. We saw you a few minutes ago teaching them and stuff. It's really cool. Amanda, you've won a lot of championships, right?
Yes, I have.
Tell me about some of those.
Well, the major one that I won was the World Junior Open in 2010. I actually won it on my 17th birthday, which was a really nice gift.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the first American ever to win any World Open Championship, so it was a major accomplishment.
Cool, cool. Now, how long have you been playing? When did you start?
I started at 12, so I haven't been playing that long. Usually, most people start at 5, 4.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And tell me a little bit about squash. What is the sport? It's not very well known here in America, right?
Yeah, well, when I say squash, no one exactly knows what it is. So the easiest thing I would say in reference to it is racquetball, even though it's much harder and it's a lot more fun to play. It's a lot of action, very fast paced. You're playing with a ball that's the size of a golf ball. It's rubber, doesn't really bounce. And then it's you and another person inside a court, and you're just hitting balls away from your opponent and trying to win points.
Right, right. And it's intense on the court at all times, right? You always have to be watching the ball. And,
Oh yeah, it's very intense.
Yeah. And Omar, you're the one who started all this, right? You were the first child
I
who
guess
started
you
playing?
could say I started.
Yeah.
I started playing when I was 12 as well.
Okay.
But I started out with soccer and tennis, and Amanda started out with soccer and tennis as well. And Sabrina started out the youngest of all of us because, as she said, she was at our tournaments and she saw us playing in the tournaments. She said, you know what, I want to try this too.
All right.
So I think that Sabrina actually has the best chance out of any of us to do the best. I know Amanda won the World Championships, and Amanda set a record of winning 4 Whisper tournaments, which is professional women's tournaments in 1 year.
At the age of 16.
At the age
Wow.
of 16, and I think Sabrina actually has an even better chance if she can stick with Dad's training regimen. And
She's number 1 under 19 now,
Okay, good.
only 14 years old.
Wow, wow. And Amanda, you're going to Harvard now?
I am actually a freshman at Harvard.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
about to finish my
And
first
you're playing
semester.
on their team?
Yep, I'm playing number 1 on the team.
Wow, excellent. So how do you get in all your time to practice, and how often do you practice?
We practice every day, Monday through Friday, and then we have the weekends off to do on our own. But it's been, the first few months, it's been a big adjustment, especially because I'm not used to such a heavy workload. But definitely I had to balance out work and then squash practice as well. And so I'm glad I just have those 2 and I haven't really ventured out into other extracurricular activities.
Right.
So I just wanted to get a routine down, just basically of schoolwork and squash, and see how that goes first semester, and then afterwards try and add in once I get better with the routine and everything.
Right. Now, Callie, how much do you want them to practice each day? Or do you have them practice?
I just want them to use every time efficiently, high quality, intense, and then they go and do the other things.
Right.
So that's why they have to like keep working, because the sport is really intense. You have to have talent, you have to have fitness, you have to have speed, you have to have strength. So all of this stuff that has to be like, you work on it all the time, especially the talent. It has to be like going all the time.
Right. Now, where
So-
did the sport, it start in Egypt? It's in
I know
Egyptian
it has been around for like what, 100 years or something, and it was established in one of the schools, and one of the other story is one of the prisons, and then evolved from there, and then all the British colonies, because it's the British sport to start with. So all the British colonies, they started the squash as well.
Right.
So squash has been like all over the world. There have been many countries that they play it, and in North America they have different kind of squash, like hardball, double, single, softball. But the rest of the world they have the softball,
The
which is the
softball.
international, the
And
one that you've been watching.
When did
here.
you start playing?
I started playing when I was 12.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Runs in the family.
It does, right? It's a good age to start. Now, you guys have traveled all over the world playing squash, right? Where have you gone?
Well, I've been to Germany, Holland, England, Egypt, Singapore,
France.
Australia, France,
Wow.
Cayman Islands, Trinidad,
New Zealand,
New Zealand,
Brazil,
Brazil,
Argentina.
Guatemala,
Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Now, you guys have all played in those places? or-
I've sometimes Sabrina and Omar, they come and play in those places, but
Right.
mainly it's me who's traveled to all those
Right.
places.
Now,
for
those are all tournaments?
Those were mainly
Canada.
tournaments, yes.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. So, Omar, tell me about the scoring and how the scoring works.
Okay, well, actually, before 2 years ago, we used to play with the English scoring. which was you only win a point on your serve to 9, and when it's 8-all, you can either pick 1 or 2. But they switched that recently because the games would actually go on for way too long, and fitness was a huge part of the game. And the spectators got very bored with 2-hour matches and 3-hour matches. So now they switched it to point of rally scoring to 11, which every rally there's a point scored, and when it's a 10-all, there's a deuce scoring, so it's a win by 2.
And then is it kind of like tennis with a certain
You play
amount?
best 3 out of 5.
Best 3 out of 5. Okay, cool.
And we've had games, I personally have had games last anywhere from, or matches last anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours. So there's a big discrepancy there.
And by the 2 hours, you're exhausted, I'm sure.
2 hours, you are mentally and physically exhausted.
Exhausted.
Now, what about? I see that you have to wear goggles. What about injuries? Have you guys had any?
Injury-wise, it's not that frequent. I mean, especially in the professional circuit, a lot of top players, they pull hamstrings or injure their backs just because squash is so demanding physically. But in terms of the goggles, only amateurs wear those because you could get whacked in the eye and losing your eyes.
What about hitting each other with tennis rackets and stuff and bumping into each other? Does that happen?
Squash rackets.
Squash rackets?
Yeah, squash rackets. Squash rackets.
What
Does that happen a lot?
Actually, most frequently is people getting either hit with the racket by accident or hit with the ball.
Or hit with the ball.
But they have rules implemented where you're supposed to stop yourself if there's going to be any dangerous situation.
And
If
just
there
let
is
the
any
ball go.
obstruction.
And just let it go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But the other thing is, like, if you know how to hit the way it's squash, like, correctly, if you learn how to hit it correctly, the injury is going to be much less. The
Right.
whole idea is when you come with a tennis swing and you go and play squash, then you start become like more injuries.
So it's a very short.
Yeah, because
stroke.
it's short, you have walls, limited space, and you are hitting against a wall and the ball has to bounce. So the technique of hitting the ball has to be different than playing tennis.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Most of the injuries happen at the amateur level. At the professional level, most of the players have much better ball control and awareness of their surroundings in the court, so you see much less injuries.
And normally when they hit you, that means they mean to hit you.
Right. That's their strategy. Now, you each stay on one side? You don't switch sides, or do you?
No.
No.
You can
switch sides.
use the entire court.
Right. Now, you're left-handed, right?
Yes, I am.
Does that make a difference?
Um,
Are you...
Usually it does.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like playing lefties, and especially because my forehand is on their backhand side, even though my backhand's on their forehand side. But it's just different because a lot of righties say that playing against a lefty, it's harder to see their swing and see where the ball is going. So it's an advantage for me.
It's an advantage, right? Yeah, good. Sabrina, you want to tell me about the strategy?
I guess it just like depends on who you're playing and how you're gonna beat them and stuff. Because there's like different kinds of people to play against, or people who just run and very basic and hit like rails and deep shots and very patient. So that there'll be like, it just depends what kind of player you are and depends what kind of player you're playing against.
Right.
So what is your advice with someone like, to really be in a winning position or a winning situation? What would you say in that kind of case?
To volley, I guess, a lot. It puts the pressure up, and then it's harder to play against.
Now, you serve, right? There's a serving point. And then are there certain strategies as far as hitting against the wall or hitting it against the side? Or
It's better to volley the serve.
So it's basically like, even starting from the serving, you start to push your opponent with your serve. You see how they are standing, their ability, their reaction, and then you hit them the ball where they cannot hit, or they can struggle with it, or force them to send a defensive shot. Then you start attacking from the beginning. And when we say attacking, you can see that there is a line on the ground, and there are 2 boxes
Good shot, Sabrina,
on
good
each side
shot.
on the floor. So those boxes on the floor, they are the service box. So you have to have 1 foot at least inside without touching any of the lines. And the line across that connecting those 2 boxes, we call it the short line. And then there is another line going straight into the door from that short line. And the meeting of those two lines, we call it the T area, which is the location for the central location of the court. And the player basically wants to control that location and move the opponent around the four corners.
Open up the face of the racket.
Whether they're gonna make them in a wrong footing, like they take them in one direction, bring them back again, or whatever the combination that they're gonna be using and the deception that they're gonna be using, whether a high shot, whether a hard shot, whether a medium shot, a tight shot, a cross shot, both, which is going from one side to the front, the opposite side, or a straight drop, or cross-court drop shot. Like, you know, you can see some of them, they've been using some of the quick to the other side of the court, while the opponent going to one direction, then they have to change direction very quickly, and that puts a lot of pressure on your body, back, legs, knees, to get your energy lower more and put more pressure on the player. So constantly your mind is working very quick, and your eye is sharp, watching that ball all over the court. Your reaction is very quick to be able to get that ball early, and the other player is trying to put the pace to keep the ball away from you. So it's always like a challenge between the two heads and the two physical ability and the two talents. Like even you can say someone talented, someone has a different ability than the other one, but they have a strategy. So it becomes head to head, brain to brain, to strategize what are they going to do to beat that player, if they're going to succeed or not.
Right. Cool. Now, Amanda, recently you were awarded the Glamour Award for the squash. What was that about?
Because of my squash achievements, I was nominated for Glamour Women of the Year. I was one of 21 Young Women of the Year, and the nominees were people who have created organizations, different athletes who've achieved high athletic things, and I was one of them, which was really, it was a great accomplishment, and it was really interesting to go there.
Yeah, I bet. Cool. Cool.
Good shot, Sabrina, good shot. Polly, come on. Good shot, Beans. Open up the face of the racket.
Not yet. Come on. Come on. Okay, switch. Switch. Side step has to get stronger, Amanda. Okay. Let's go. So Sabrina's in the back. Nice. Come on, get it. Shot.